good.
Okay,
We're ready.
we're ready. Are you ready? Good evening and welcome to the April 8th Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight we have 3 scheduled matters and no tabled matters, and then 2 administrative matters at the end of the meeting. We do have proof of publication. It was in the Webster Herald and also on the town website. And we'll start with the pledge, if everyone could please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, could you please call the roll?
Mrs. Volo,
Present?
Mr. Spampanato,
Here.
Mr. Prescott,
Here.
Mr. Santola,
Here.
Mr. Accorso,
Here.
Ms. Corsi,
Here.
Mr. Artuso,
Here.
Mr. DeMarco.
Here.
Before we start the meeting, I just want to make sure that anyone who's going to speak at this evening's meeting, there's a sign-up list on the podium at the door. Please make sure that you list your name and address. And then anyone who speaks during the public hearing will have 5 minutes. And then when we close the public hearing, then the board will discuss each application. Chris, if you could please read the
Sure.
first application in.
First application is a 2-car garage addition located at 310 Colorado Drive. Applicant is Thomas and Deborah Pumpton. They're requesting an area variance to allow a front setback of 30 feet where 50 feet is required and a side setback of 5 feet where 15 feet is required, associated with the construction of an approximately 618 square foot 2-car garage and residential addition on a 0.47 acre parcel having SBL number 078.10-1-22, located in the R3 Single Family Residential District under Section 350-12 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Are the applicants here this evening? Colorado Drive?
If you guys could come up to the podium? Yes. Thank you.
Good evening.
If you could just tell the board a little bit about your application, what you're trying to do, and the reasons for the location of your addition,
Okay.
please.
So we would like to expand our current living space into our current garage and add a 2-car garage bumped out to the front, to the east side of our property, and following behind that to the right side of our house, to the south, or to the north of our property, an addition. We'd like to do this addition, we originally just wanted to do the garage, but we'd like to do an in-law apartment for my mother. It would be just a bedroom, not a kitchen. She'd have a handicap bathroom and access into our house.
And the reason it'll be onto the side so much is so it won't be into the center. And having Granny so close to us and kind of mess up our whole design that we're looking for to keep an open concept. So if we get Granny behind the garage, it seemed like a nice spot for her if we had to do the garage and that that close anyway. And it's not 5 feet at the front, it's only 5 feet in the one back corner.
Bless you.
Bless you. Does anyone from the board have any questions or comments for the applicants? The rear corner is at 5 feet, but up towards the front of the house, that's the 11.2?
Correct.
Okay.
Are you just digging up your existing driveway and putting in a new one, I'm assuming, just based on where the new garage is going, just putting grass seed or
Yes.
new landscaping or something
Yep.
like that down?
Well, we currently have just a one-car garage, so a single-lane driveway, so it would be a double.
Okay. Oh, so you're gonna keep that add-on to the existing driveway itself to the new garage?
Right,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
You don't happen to have any sections or elevations of the addition? do you?
No. Nope, it's a ranch, and we'd keep the same
Yeah,
roof line.
same height as the ranch. Granny can't go up or down, that's why we're bringing her to the side.
Are you guys running new ductwork, or are you putting mini splits in?
It'll be one mini split for her,
Is it,
and then,
no, go ahead.
and I'll be able to put the heat runs for where the existing garage is.
Okay. Where will the unit for the mini split sit? Will it sit in the back, or will it sit on that side?
I can definitely put it towards the back.
Oh.
Yeah, towards the back. I can keep it off that wall.
All right, this is a public hearing, so I will open it up to the floor. If there's anyone here that would like to speak for or against the application, please come up to the podium, identify yourself, and then state your opinion or your thoughts on the matter. All right, seeing no one, I will return the discussion back to the board. Pursuant to NYCRR Section 617 of the Environmental Code, I'll make a motion for a Type 2 seeker.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Did anyone want to run through the standards, or? Here's my list. Bear with me. All right, the request is not out of character with the neighborhood. There are other homes in the area that have added additions in that neighborhood. They're all fairly narrow lots, and so any, excuse me, any addition that's required is going to go into the side setback. There will not be a detriment created to nearby properties. The addition is actually adjacent to the rear yard of the next door neighbor, so I don't believe it will be terribly visible to that neighbor. It's the least impactful location with respect to the rest of the neighbors. As far as achievable from any other method, in order to maintain a single story and have this accessible to your elderly parent and match the homes in the neighborhood, the single level is important, which then dictates the size of the addition, since I can't stack it up. There are no adverse physical or environmental impacts to the site or the neighborhood. I'll flip a coin with the difficulty being self-created or not. The lot itself is unusually shaped in that it's wider in the front and pie-shaped, so it's quite narrow towards the back. And there really is very little that can be done to the house that doesn't impact the side setback on that side of the home. But you are desiring to put the addition on, so I'll call that a tie. And then it's not an undesirable change in that it's going to match the character of the home and the roof line of the house, so it'll look like it belongs there. Anything else anyone wants to add?
As long as the materials and, like you said, roof line are consistent with the existing structure.
Which they will be?
We will re-roof our current house, so everything
So it all
matches.
matches,
Yeah.
okay. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we grant an area variance to the property located at 310 Colorado Drive. Applicants Thomas and Deborah Compson for an area variance to allow a front setback of 30 feet where 50 feet is required, and a side setback of 5 feet where 15 feet is required, associated with the construction of a new addition and two-car garage, all in a parcel located located in R3 Single Family Residential District, having SBL number 078.10-1-22 under Section 350.12 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Second?
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mrs. Wolo,
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato,
Aye.
Mr. Prescott,
Aye.
Mr. Mascari.
Aye.
All right, your motion passes, so you do have your area variance. You have 1 year meaningful construction. You must obtain all necessary permits with respect to the town of Webster. You will have to apply by all building codes. What am I missing, Josh?
If you're going to be expanding the driveway, you'll want to reach out to the highway department
yes.
to get a
Okay.
permit for that as well.
Okay.
Thank you. You have your variance, so you can come by the town and get your permits and get started.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
you.
We appreciate it.
All right, the next matter is Mill Creek Run.
The scheduled matter of garage addition located at 1291 Mill Creek Run. Applicant Dan Western is requesting an area variance to allow a side setback of 10 feet where 15 feet is required, associated with the construction of approximately 288 square foot addition to an existing garage on a 0.4 acre parcel having SBL number 065.13-2-45, located in the R3 Single Family Residential District under Section 350-12 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
The applicant can come up, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm looking to get a variance to add on to the garage, 12 feet by 24. I will carry along the roof line exactly the same. I will reside the addition with cedar shakes that are currently on the house. I will get new ones, of course. Looking to add on that 12 feet to give more space for my son and I and my daughters to increase our ability to have some fun hobbies. Getting into woodworking and whatnot, and my son's really taken off to that, so we want to be able to have a little more space to work.
That's a hobby, not a job?
Correct.
Okay.
Do you need to go directly to the lot line, or can you come off of it a little? Because what I'm seeing right here is it says build to property lot line. So that, I'm assuming that means right up to the property lot line, or are you gonna have like a little space off of it?
No, there'll still be 9 feet
Okay.
to the property line. There's 21 feet and change right now from the building to the property line. I want to go 12 feet, so I'm looking for a 5-foot variance into that space.
I'm assuming with board work, you're gonna run electric, probably heat back there too, or?
Probably just electric for now.
Okay. Do you have to upgrade your service?
No, we already have 200 amp service.
Is the driveway gonna extend over too or not?
No, right now it already sweeps out that way,
Okay.
so we're not gonna modify that at all. I'm not looking to put a garage door on the front, it's just space, it's not
You're just
another
expanding
parking
that
space.
wall out to.
Yep, yeah.
Access will be from the existing garage, I'm assuming? I
Yeah,
saw a window in it.
there's a side passage door to come in from the front, and then there's a door on the house as well. And there's a door on the back of the garage.
Any other questions from the board before we do the hearing? All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone who would like to speak for or against this application, you may step up to the podium now. Okay, seeing no one, I'll return the discussion back to the board. So we're looking for a roughly single-car addition of 12 feet by 24 with a side setback of approximately 10 feet. All right, pursuant to New York CRR Section 617 of the Environmental Code, I'll make a motion for a type 2 seeker.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would anyone like to run through the findings?
The addition will be constructed according to the applicant with the same roof lines and sided with the same materials, so, and the fact that it will be consistent with other houses in the area will not create any undesirable change in the essential character of the neighborhood. Based on the lot itself, there doesn't appear to be any remedy other than where it's located to bump out usable garage space. The variance requested is not significant based on the current layout of the house, the building and the land. The required area variance is not substantial because there's still 10 feet of space maintained between the proposed addition and the property line. And there are no detrimental impacts on the environment or the environmental conditions of the neighborhood. And although it is self-created by the request, the existing property lines were there, and there is no other probably buildable option that would allow them to create the space they need.
Thank you. Does anyone want to add to that? All right. With that, I'll make a motion to grant an area variance to allow a garage addition at 1291 Mill Creek Run. Applicant is requesting a 10-foot side setback where 15 feet is required for the construction of an approximately 288 square foot addition on a .4 acre parcel with SBL 065.13-2-45 located in an R3 single-family residential district.
Second.
Mrs. Wallo?
Aye.
Mr. Santola?
Aye.
Mr. Miskowicz?
Aye.
Mr. Prescott?
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato?
Aye.
All right, you do have your area variance. There are some conditions. You have 1 year to start meaningful construction or the variance expires. You do need to obtain all necessary governmental permits. And that's really it. You can come to the town and get a copy of your variance and your permits to get started.
Thank you.
Quickly,
missing?
did we do a seeker on this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Past 5.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes,
Okay.
just double checking.
All right. And the next application is 747 Herman Road.
Okay, the next matter is to maintain chickens located at 747 Herman Road. Applicant Mary Zindel is requesting a special use permit to allow no more than 8 chickens on a 0.60 acre parcel having SBL number 064.01-2-12 located in the R2 Single Family Residential District under Section 350-40, Section 350-72A, and Section 350-75 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Hello,
Good evening.
where shall I begin?
Explain to the board why you're here tonight, what we're trying to accomplish.
Thank
please.
you. I am here requesting a special use permit to maintain my chickens at 747 Herman Road. I have 7 girls at this time. I do not have any roosters. My girls are for eggs and companionship, as well as for the lessons in stewardship for my daughter, who is 5 years old. They are quiet. At most, you will hear them sing their egg-laying song. At the risk of embarrassing myself at a public forum, I will not sing it for you, but when you hear them going, it's because they've either laid an egg or they're about to lay an egg, and they would like to tell the entire world. My neighbors right next door to me have described them as very sweet and totally harmless. They have more than enough space within their coop as well as within their enclosed run. I know that I already mentioned that I have them for their eggs, but I would like to emphasize that I do not have them for meat. They all have their own names. They are very much pets. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The coop is right next to my house. Oh, thank you. I didn't even think to look up there. So it's roughly the same color. It's right next to my house. I keep it there because there's this really nifty nook, if you will, from the back of my home that helps to weatherproof the area. With the wind that we get, this helps to keep them warmer and protected from that. It's also out of sight, and for a long time there was nothing but woods between myself and my neighbors on that side. The run, you can't really see it, which is kind of the point. The run is topped with bird netting. You can kind of see it in that right-hand photo there. And it's also fenced in. The bottom part is also fenced in with chicken wire along the fence itself. What more can I tell you from there? Oh, right, yes. So the neighborhood boasts a farm and agricultural character all around. All up and down Herman Road, Pellet Road, Van Alstyne, Drum, Shoemaker, it goes on. It's very farmy. In fact, the homes, we'll say stage left, of mine, 3 of them have chickens right next door, and they have 5 or 6 really sweet, really cuddly chickens. Next door to them, there's an entire barn of livestock, chickens, geese, some roosters, and some sweet sheep. Next to them, there's more poultry, and then, of course, there's the entire neighborhood flock of turkey that roam about for several months out of the year, every year. So I believe that with all of that, my chickens fit right in with the neighborhood.
Thank you. Any?
You're not gonna put any kind of roof on top of that?
On top of what?
On top of where your fence line is around?
There is so there's bird netting on there at this time,
Okay.
which is a little hard to see, but
Yeah,
that's kind of the point. If you walked up to it, it's so it's all black, but if you walked up to it, you could see it and even touch it. In truth, in hopes of not complicating things more, I would like to build them a new coop this summer, and I would like to have an enclosed run for it. But I haven't figured out plans for that quite yet. I wanted to see how this meeting goes, of course. But it is covered right now.
You say there's other people in the area that have chickens and other farm animals. How big are their lot sizes compared to yours?
Thank you for asking. So yes, they do have 5 acres next door to me, as well as or at least 5 acres, I should say, as well as the properties next to them. I realize that I have a smaller property, and please forgive me. Thank you for correcting it. In my application, I wrote .65. That was an oversight on my part. It is .6, as you guys corrected in the postcards. So I realize that I have a smaller property. I do realize that the neighbors do have 5 acres or more. I'm also, sorry, very close to the microphone. I'm also aware that I have more than enough space to keep healthy, safe, well cared for chickens. My chickens are not posing any trouble or nuisance, and they do fit in with the neighborhood character. So it is my hope that I can get a special use permit that will help me keep them in my smaller lot.
Any other questions?
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off one more. Do you, because you have a smaller lot and they all have 5 acres, which meets town code, do you think it would be, if, let's say you did get this approved and everything, do you think it's right that everybody should have the same thing if they have a smaller, let's say even smaller lot than you do? put this up? Do you think it would do anything to the whole town?
I'm sorry, can you, my
Sorry
left
about
ear's a
that.
little plugged,
Nope,
I'm
sorry
trying to hear
about
you.
What I'm saying is, you have a smaller lot, like you said. The other ones have a 5-acre lot, so they have more room. So do you think a house that sits on .04 acres should also get approved if you get approved for the way the town looks?
I imagine that depends on the area, and that's really, oh, sorry.
I don't know respectfully if that's an appropriate
No,
question.
no, that's fine, I didn't know, so I was just kind of
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
I was going to send it back to you and
No,
say
that's
that I
fine.
don't
No,
know
that's
that I
no
would
big
be
deal.
qualified to do that, but I,
Regular. I live over in that area.
We're gonna strike the question.
That's fine, you can strike it, it's no big deal.
okay, okay.
Good sized lot.
Josh, I have a question. If she does get approval tonight and wanted to build a new coop, she would have to go through the building permit process, correct? Or not?
Depending on the nature of the construction, I don't have enough details to know that.
Just that getting your special use permit does not give her blanket approval for,
Yeah, I mean, if she were to,
just rebuild what she has, right, versus.
right, we would only require a building permit if it's in fact a permanent structure affixed to the ground and it meets the definition of a building. My initial inclination is that this would not require a building permit, even a new coop.
Okay. I'm just trying to, if you get the approval, help you pave the way for doing what you say you want.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
If there's no other comments from the board, I will open this up to the public. If there's anyone who wishes to speak for or against this application, if you could please approach the podium, identify your name and address, and then state whatever your comments are, please. No one? All right, seeing no one, I will return the discussion back to the board. Before we continue, as part of the public comment, we do have several letters of support from neighbors surrounding the area. We have a letter from a Benjamin Wisniewski, and he is at 756 Herman Road. Brian and Christine Ferry of 745 Herman Road are also in favor. William Robach of 748 Herman Road is also in favor. Joseph Robach of 744 Herman Road, and Carol Gabbert, and the address is not listed other than she does live on Herman Road.
She's right next to Linda Hermans, who should also be in there as well.
All right. I may have missed a page, but also then Linda Herman as well did say yes. She's in, they're all in favor of it. All right, where was I? Seeker.
Seeker.
Pursuant to New York CRR Section 617 of the Environmental Code, I would make a motion for a type 2 seeker.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, discussion amongst the board members. We have done an application on Drum Road within the past year for, I believe, 8 chickens on a .5 or .6 acre parcel. 0.6 acres. We also had a similar special use permit on Maple Drive, and I believe they have the ability to keep up to 12 chickens, no roosters at either of those occasions, on a 1.9 acre parcel. And again, we also have 3 houses, the next 3 addresses also in the area, so just making note of that from previous board activity. Go.
Since you only have 7 now, and if you're limiting it at 8, Would you ever consider getting a rooster, or are you okay with just having hens?
I will not have a rooster. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I don't want to run that risk.
Okay.
They're also right beneath my bedroom, and I would not like to be awakened at 5 a.m.
So are roosters aggressive then?
They don't have to be, but they can be.
Okay.
Interestingly, they're not aggressive at all in Hawaii, but they can be here. Maybe it's winter. I don't know why.
That makes me kind of angry too. All right, any other comments or questions?
Josh, do we have, and I may be confusing this with, I'm not sure if it were pigs. Did we have some type of a check-in time frame?
Yes, the code allows the board to impose a condition that the applicant appear back before them at a certain period of time, up to the board's discretion, to get a report from our code enforcement officer, just to ensure that it's not creating any issues. And then the board has the ability to extend the permit up to a total of 5 years based on that. That's typically how they've handled it.
All right, I'm trying to pull up the criteria for a special use permit.
It's on your screen for
Oh,
you.
thank you. Because it's very small on my phone and I can't see it. All right, Mr. Attorney, Mr. DeMarco, do we want to go through this criteria or just look like item by item?
Well, yeah, yes, whoever's going to, what, does it have to be the person that makes the motion, but somebody should make those findings?
Okay, all right.
You
All
just
right, I'm
wanna
just going to start
clarify,
reading
Corinne?
through these and we can discuss each one as we go.
That's fine. There are a total of 12, so there is another slide that
Okay.
has additional criteria. So whoever makes the motion, just want to be clear on that.
Okay. All right, but I believe we could use these as findings as we're discussing them. All right, the first one is the use will not prevent the orderly or reasonable use of adjacent properties or of properties in adjacent use districts. I will say that the chickens have been there for 6 years.
Correct.
5 to 6 years. When I visited the property, other than seeing one sitting quietly on the other side of the fence, I would not have known there were chickens there, so I guess I would say that this would meet that criteria. The public health, safety, general welfare, or order of the town will not be adversely affected by the proposed use in its location. Again, I don't want to dominate the conversation, but I would agree with that in this instance. The use will be in general harmony with and promote the general purposes and intent of the most recent comprehensive plan of the code of the town and ordinance per chapter 350. That section of town, I believe, is part of the large lot district for what little land is left. And the large lot district, when it was instituted within the town, was to promote, I won't say necessarily farm-like activities, but larger, more spacious, more countryside types of activities and types of living. And within that neighborhood of Herman and Drum, if I go over to Van Alstyne into Whiting and Shoemaker, does kind of all fit this character. The proposed use will not interfere with the preservation of the general character of the neighborhood in which such building is to be placed or use is to be conducted, and in fact will be compatible with its surroundings and with the character of the neighborhood or the community in general, particularly with regard to visibility, scale, and overall appearance. I would say we meet that as well. The physical characteristics and topography of the proposed site make it suitable for the proposed special use. Anyone have any comments on that? To me, the location is logical because it is in a little nook, but,
It butts up the woods.
and there's a wooded area that's to the east of it. I think I'm facing east in that direction. to the left. The physical characteristics, all right. The proposed special use provides appropriate landscaping and/or forms of buffering to protect the surrounding land uses. The applicant does have a fence around the area, around the entire yard, rear yard, as well as the actual chicken coop area is fenced in. So I would say that we also meet that criteria as well. Slide, thank you. The property has sufficient, appropriate, and adequate area for the use as well as reasonably anticipated operation thereof. I would say as long as the size of the flock is limited to 8 at this point in time, they've been there, that it appears to be sufficient and that they've lived there, I guess I'll say discreetly, for several years. The access to facilities is adequate for the estimated traffic. It's not going to generate any additional traffic. It's just strictly a resident using this for her own family.
I think the rest of it is.
The rest of it is
Is
not appropriate. Okay.
Well, I don't know, they might need their own sewer system.
Yeah, they might need electricity.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
I redact that.
I redact mine.
All right, which one of you two is gonna make a motion? Any other comments? All right, how do I make the motion for this one?
Do exactly what you just did, only you prefaced it with, I make a motion.
All right, I will make a motion that this board grant a special use permit to allow the keeping of chickens at 747 Herman Road for the applicant Mary Zindel. The flock, I would say, will consist of no more than 8 chickens, as it's on a .6 acre parcel. And I just completely lost my train of thought. The chickens will remain contained so that they're not impactful to the surrounding neighbors as best they can be. I don't know if chickens on occasion run away or not. The permit will not allow a rooster at the location. It will only be for chickens. And I'm trying to think, what did we do for the Drum Road? For the Drum Road application.
Require the applicant to appear before the board in 1 year.
And yes, I would say that this would be a 6-month follow-up if the board does determine to grant this. And at some point in time, towards the end of that 6 months, we would expect the code enforcement officer to evaluate the use for us and then bring it back to the board to discuss allowing the use to continue or making modifications as required based on his findings. Okay, and so this is all at 747 Herman Road. It is parcel number 064.01-2-12, and it is in an R2 single-family residential district. What am I missing?
I think you got it all. We got size, we got number, no roosters, and they'll need to
And
reappear
they're
before the board.
In
So I
6
think-
months.
Even if we did miss something, we get them again in 6 months.
All right, I need a second.
I second.
Thank you.
Mrs. Vola,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mr. and Ms. Garrett,
I,
Mr. Prescott,
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato.
Aye.
All right, you do have your special use permit, and the town will, Josh, I don't know how, like, do you guys send send a permit letter to the applicant, and then in 6 months you'll have to appear back before the board again, just as a review?
Yes, we will send out an official approval letter with the conditions, and we will notify code enforcement to put this on their calendar for 6 months.
Okay, and then will you also notify the applicant in 6 months that they're back on the agenda?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for bearing
Good
with
night.
us.
You too.
right, we do have another administrative matter at this point in time. Well, all right, so that closes out the formal business of the zoning board for April 8th. We do have two administrative matters. The first administrative matter is the one-year review at 877 Maple Drive for special use permit number 23-ZB-0008 for the construction of a chicken coop. The property was granted an increase from 6 to 12 chickens in April of 2024, and this is the one-year review of that. So would you please come up? And then, hi,
Hello,
state your name, please,
Nicholas Serini,
and your address is 877
877
Maple
Maple
Drive.
Drive.
Now, code enforcement, we do have a letter from Mr. Santiago, the code compliance officer, that to date, he has received no complaints with respect regarding the chickens at 877 Maple Drive, which were granted a special use permit by this board. Please accept this report as my favorable recommendation for the resident to maintain the special use permit for the remainder of the 5-year period. And that was as of the end of March. So, does anyone from the board have any comments or questions before we proceed? All right, and then,
Excuse me one second. Jess, is it required to notice the one-year status report?
Not to my
Let me say it
knowledge.
differently. Is it noticed?
It was listed under administrative matters.
Okay.
It was published.
It wasn't.
That was part of the, okay.
Yes.
all right. Now, if we extend this, is it 5 years from from 2024, or is it 5 years from tonight? We can extend it for a full 5 years. Okay, so then 5 years, so 4 more
4 more
years.
years.
Okay. All right, does anyone want to do that motion? I feel like I've kind of monopolized the microphone.
Make a motion that we accept the review letter of the code compliance officer saying that there have been no complaints regarding the chickens kept at 877 Maple Drive, and allow them to continue their increase of chickens from 6 to 12 until April of 2028, which would be 4 years from the initial date of approval.
We should do
5
5
years,
years
sorry,
from the
5
initial
years.
date. So 2029, 4 years from now,
Right,
4/8/29, right?
correct.
yes. Second.
Mr. Santola?
Aye.
Mrs. Vola?
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato?
Aye.
Mr. Prescott?
Aye.
Mr. Miskowski?
Aye.
All right. Your permit is extended for the remaining 4 years. And this is my question for the attorney. At the end of that 4-year window, or Josh, the applicant, in order to maintain the flock, would need to start the approval process again and apply for a new special permit?
Assuming we
Yeah.
have the same code in place at that time. then
Unless there are
yes.
improvements to changes to the code that
Well,
would
regardless,
prevent it.
it'll expire.
Yes. So something will need to be recognized or acknowledged then, but, all right.
Okay.
Keep your chickens.
I had two things. I was wondering if I were to place a stand at the end of my driveway for eggs or honey, would I need to, is there a different permit I have to do for that, or?
Farm stands are temporarily permitted?
Yes, they're seasonally permitted, and there is some criteria, proximity to the roadway, having off-street parking available. So we do, in certain circumstances, if you meet the criteria, it is allowed.
Okay. Is that criteria in the code book or something?
Yeah, I'd be happy to take a look at it and
Okay.
loop back with you.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. The other matter, just notes for the previous item, when I got my original special use permit, I didn't require a building permit as well. You were asking about that, so I was gonna clarify.
For the coop, the the
Yeah,
existing
yeah,
coop?
yeah, when I,
Is it built on a foundation, or is it essentially removable, affixed to the ground permanently?
it would take some work, but it is, yeah, there's no foundation or,
Okay.
yeah,
So therefore, it would be exempt under the New York State Building Code.
okay.
As long as humans aren't habitating in there, then I think you're good.
Okay.
Very short little humans.
All right.
All right, thank you,
Great, thanks.
and thank you, Josh. All right, that concludes those matters, and then we have a final administrative matter is the approval of the minutes from the March 11th meeting. So, do I have, okay, I'm good with the number of members. I would make a motion to approve the March 11th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Those are approved, and with that, it concludes this evening's meeting, and thank you all for coming.